I started launching this video because I wanted to address a question from Karen, and then my house got really chaotic. So um, if you hear a baby crying and a 5-year-old running around naked upstairs, that's what's happening. But so Karen, as a CEO today, tell her that he has to go to the board about the Rocket decision. And here's my take on that. And Karen included the link to his LinkedIn profile, so I checked him out, checked out his website. I'm struggling to believe that anyone needs permission to spend $5,000. I don't care what you're doing in top line. I don't care if you're bootstrapped or funded. I'm struggling to believe that someone needs permission to spend $5,000. So my first move here is to engage, and if you're emotionally neutral and you could see the move, to engage my healthy skepticism. So my healthy skepticism is softening, nurturing, all that. But hey, Mr. Prospect, like, you have to go to the board to spend $5,000 on marketing? Like, really? Like, I'm gonna dummy up and just get really skeptical because I don't believe that that's true. And so that's my first move for getting new information and being misled. Now let's pretend. So remember, and also if you debrief yourself, if you didn't see that in the moment, maybe you're emotionally involved because you thought you almost had one. And then when he said, let me go to the board, but the board will say yes, then you still think, oh, I still almost got one. It just won't happen until next Tuesday. But if you're not emotionally involved, you could see the move in the moment. So if you didn't see the move, chances are emotional involvement was an issue. Let's pretend he survives that skepticism test, and he convinces me he really needs to go to the board, which I'm still trying to figure out if that's a real thing that could happen for such a small amount of money. But let's pretend that he survives that, and he goes, yeah, Rob, it's I'm CEO, but it's not my company, and we're bootstrapped, and my spending authority is up to 3,500. And I know it's goofy, but so let's pretend that that he does that, and he has to go to the board. So there's a difference between someone telling you to have to go to the board and us accepting it, and us doing some great consultative selling than them convincing us that that's the truth. So if we move through and now we believe it's the truth, and all the evidence is that it is the truth, then you dress rehearse him through the conversation with the board. And I like to do this. It's the same thing with other decision makers that you can't get on the phone. And I like to do this in the negative. Hey, Mr. Prospect, I appreciate that. Walk me through that. What's that look like? All that stuff. And then you go, yeah, here's the thing though. The board would never go for this, would they? Like, my first question to him about what the board's going to think, I always like that to be in the negative, because you guys know how negative selling works. I go in the negative, and he goes, no, they will, and here's why. And he starts fighting me, and he's building a case, and he's reiterating a case and reaffirming a case for us. And I like that he's having this conversation with himself out loud in front of me, and he's getting this rehearsal for when he has to present to the board, or if someone on the board challenges him. And if you could think through, and his case isn't quite perfect, you could go, yeah, but remember when you said this, and you could start going through a dress rehearsal through all the objections that the board is going to give him, or that other decision makers are going to give him, and you could literally dress rehearse the guy through selling you to somebody else. You also get a lot of information about what is likely to happen. If he goes, no, the board does what I say, they do it all the time, but they're never going to buy it. Oh, they'll buy this 100%. I have no doubt. Or, he'll be skeptical or a little more negative. You'll get a ton of information about that. Also, I totally forgot, before the board conversation, you got to ask the guy, if it was up to you, what would you do? And any answer other than I'm a 10 out of 10, I'm 100% in, and you go 100% in means like I'd give you the money today and we'd be going. Any answer other than that, you're in trouble, and the board's not your problem. This guy's your problem. So if he's not a 10 out of 10, then you're in trouble, but it's not the board, it's him. So get him to 10 out of 10. If he is 10 out of 10, you dress rehearse him through the board. And it's like a minimal acceptable positive outcome. It's definitely not ideal, but it's one of those, if that's the reality of your situation, that's how you do it. We'll take it. And if you do it the right way, you can actually win a lot of those. You could win quite a bit. Sorry, this video is super long, but one last thing I remember in Karen's Slack message was, when this happens, this always happens to me. There was a thing where every time someone goes to the board, they're going to ghost me later or something like that. It was something similar to like that. You guys, if there's something about the way that you sell that produces the same negative result every single time you try it, you got to change what you're doing. And an easy way to do that is to add a post sell in. So if every time someone goes to the board, they ghost you on the go, no go call, then try to fix all the stuff that I've talked about in the first 4 minutes of this video, but then also add in a post sell for, hey, Mr. Prospect, every time that someone goes to the board, they tend not to show up on the next call. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I deserve it or what, but whatever that sounds like, however that's comfortable for you, make them promise you that they won't do that to you. So do a post sell or like a preview of a contract, and it's a combination of post sell and my biggest fear, where it's like, hey, every time that I hear this, this is what happens next. Is that going to happen here? Like, make the guy promise out loud once or twice that he's not going to stand you up, and then the principles of commitment, consistency dictate that he's going to work really hard not to stand you up. Or if he is going to stand you up, he'll at least give you an email or something. So anyway, sorry, probably too long, but I don't really feel like I got into rambling much. So hopefully that's mostly high quality information. See you guys tomorrow.